Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Welcome to your weekly stock sector overview. So, where do we stand with everything? We've had some pullbacks and things, some rallies and things, but let's just take a look at the overall big picture. By the way, USA has a huge election coming up, midterm elections on Tuesday, and they might not fully be resolved by Wednesday. So we shall see. So do keep that in mind. We can get some volatility just off that. Then the CPI numbers are out on Friday and are out on Thursday. Friday is holiday for the bond market only. All right, energy. You can still see, still in bull mode. The only thing I'm keeping an eye on is we're getting to a first bearish divergence on the daily with cycles heading down, and on the weekly with cycles at the top. And we're up against prior highs. So we could see some pullback in the XLE. So be prepared with that with some stops. All right, no, this is not a double top, but if we do start trading below the low from Thursday, I'm going to start watching for the pullback and potentially the bigger pullback. First level will be 86.35. Major level is about 83.50 to 84. So take that into account with your trailing stops. But even on a pullback, is still in bullish mode. It's more that it's managing long positions right now, waiting for the pullback, then to reassess, and then looking for pullbacks on strong energy stocks. XLRE, see, still in sell mode. We had a couple-week rally. Last week was a little pause. Daily's a flagging pattern. If it does rally, I think the upside's somewhat limited to about this 37.50. We'll watch more for a breakdown play. And a rally, I'm not still interested in real estate at all. I'd have to have something in major outperformance. I think there's substantial risk to the downside. So just not really touching this stuff. There's other better areas to focus on. And it's a long way from getting back to any buy pattern. XLF. XLF still technically in sell mode, coming up to a nice area which could have tipped it to at least some neutral. No double top yet. Watching for that area up here. Again, we're stalling out. There's a lot of prior resistance up here, hitting that 75. Harmonic cannot get above it. I'm watching for, if we do push up, for a potential topping pattern, and key area would be 34.80, which is roughly the highs from back in September 12th. Not the, oh, yeah, that was the absolute high in September. And we have the declining 200. So I am, there's been some plays in financials, but I'm getting cautious at this point unless it can really start sustaining price action above about 34.40. If it gets a close roughly above this 34.40 area, it will go to neutral mode, and then a close above 36 would take it back to bullish mode. So if there are some financial plays that look good, I still think they can be considered, but they have to be looking good. If the market starts selling off with election or CPI numbers, though, don't really want to be part of it with that. XLK, still in sell mode with a 2-week bounce back, and then this last week was pretty much a bloodbath in technology. This, turned into a slightly triple topish little thing right here. This could have still been considered because this was not a big pullback, a double top, but it hit the targets. If we start getting into rally mode, I'm going to be real focused on this recent highs, and if there's any decent tech stocks that has a short-term bottom, they're playable. If we're in decline mode, not touching tech at all. And if any tech is below major resistance, so that would be prior support becoming major resistance, not touching it at all. All right, so that is key. Tech below me, and if you don't know what we're talking about with major resistance, tune into one of our live streams and ask some questions. Like Apple, still above, this would be major support. So there is a major resistance is down below here, but you're still above major support. So if Apple were to get below this key support layer of 135, that would be major resistance, and then Apple would be off the table. Apple is still potentially playable on bounces only, not as long-term investments. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. Microsoft was below major resistance, but it's still from this little spike, it's above there, but this other key area right here. So Microsoft on a continued bounce play back to the rotation zone. No, it's not what I'm looking at. NVIDIA, even though SMH is still in sell mode, NVIDIA is still holding up decently. Yes, this is a double top, so as long as that didn't trigger, but this is not below, this is back above this resistance. It's still, if you're going with this resistance, not very good. You know, there's just not a lot that's fantastic. AMD now is an exception. Why? Major resistance up is about 71.92. So if this got a little breakout above about 63.50, 64 area, it could be a pop play to 68. But this is where I'm having trouble finding things. So if you're in doubt, steer clear of technology. If you can't find something really good to play, in technology, we're getting more of the rotation out of it. XLI is, is still in neutral mode. The aggressive would be on a close above 96.40 area. The more aggressive buy to flip it back. So what are we looking for? Yes, there is a potential double top. It's stalling out at the 200 area. XLI, I should say, is a still good thing to look for. This would be the industrial sectors. However, if we get a daily close below 91.60, not touching it for at least until some of this double plays out. So then it would be off the table in the short term. XLY. Yes, we still have a potential bottom in consumer discretionary on the weekly. That is about, you can see, breaking down from the flagging pattern, but not getting to new lows. The only thing that I'm looking at in the short term is if we get a daily close above 148.32. Yes, it could rally back up here, but until that 148.32 level, I'm not going to keep looking at it because I need a stronger pattern in place. XLP is still like it's in sell mode. So consumer staples, yes, it's rallied back. I will keep an eye on this, especially if it could get above about 74. Above 74, you can see close right at that 62.5, but above 74, I will start more aggressively looking for consumer staples plays. Until that can happen, and that also in this partial gap fill with a 200, I'm going to just be patient and wait. Wait. That's still the thing with a lot of this market. There's not a lot in super strong buy mode. Healthcare in neutral mode coming up, did not quite get to the last target before the pullback. Still in neutral mode with a bullish buy side from the short-term pattern. So healthcare is still playable to the upside. XLB, still definitely playable. This is the materials sector, has triggered this double first target hit. Even on a pullback to here and with gap fill, it's still playable. So XLB, definitely, that's one of the key sectors I will continue to look for plays. XLC, on the other hand, is complete trash. Another breakdown, another sector low, been in sell mode forever, pausing at the next harmonic, but not touching it. Not touching it. This is an example of key support becoming resistance. Even on a bounce back here, you have a declining rotation zone, and there's two major resistance levels, about 48 and 47. So just steer clear of communications. You don't need to call a bottom in a fallen knife. XLU, still in sell mode. Little flagging back channel pattern. If this can get a daily close above about 68.20, we'll watch for some short-term pop plays in utilities only. Only because it could make a little run higher. Other than that, it's in long-term sell. XRT, the retail ETF coming up. This got to a really sloppy pattern. First, nearly seconds target hit and the pullback. If you're still looking for plays, I'd take it off the table at 59.60. So if we start breaking down below a 59.60, I'd just ignore this sector again. It would go and ignore them, especially with this pullback. So would not be forcing stuff in retail, and it's still in long-term sell mode. I'd rather miss a bounce play in retail than try to get in something that's not really structured well. Transportation still in long-term sell mode. Could be coming up to a more topping area. I'm just steering clear of transportation at this time. Gonna just bump up these harmonics. We got a better pausing area right now. If you had to play something above 215.60, there's a couple upside targets for a possible transportation breakout on a very short-term basis. I think you'd be forcing it. Although if you could find a stock that has a decent pattern, it could be playable for a very short term. SMH still in long-term sell. Some of these stocks have held up a little better. If SMH can get a daily close above about 196, if there's any good semi-plays that have a short-term bounce, they could be considered. If we break down, though, below Thursday's low, don't even bother trying to do anything in semiconductors. DBC commodities. Commodities actually never tipped to sell. Breaking back, looks like it's going to break out again, especially above about 26.70. I'm looking more aggressively for commodity plays. Commodity plays, you can see here, there's that 27 area. So these, as long as this does not start dipping back below about 25, looking for commodity plays in the short term. Agriculture never tipped to sell and is still not great. But if there are some agriculture plays, especially if we can get back above about 2020, I would consider them. Gold miners, this came down to create this a triple. So the double's off. We had a strong close in gold to end the week. So I'm just now looking at 26. We break above 26, can be a short-term gold miner play. I'm not still sold. I did some more analysis on gold. It doesn't look like we have a long-term bottom in. This could be a short-term bottoming pattern. If that is, you could even look at some gold stocks for short-term bounces, not long-term plays yet. VTV, Vanguard Value, again stalling out at the final target from this prior double. You can see stalling out. And also this is a potential double top. Potential double. No, is it not? No, it's not. Sorry, I misspoke. It has a little much higher to go. If this pokes up again to this 200 and then reverses and gets a daily close below 134.43, I would stick clear in the short term of value. If it gets above this 200 again on a daily and stays above there, I think value could be back in play if the individual stock has a short-term pattern. Growth. We had this sloppy head and shoulders stalling out at the 50 and then coming back down. Is this now a double, which is a stronger pattern? Yes. A stronger pattern. So the only thing that makes me interested in growth is a daily close above 227.27. Then I can look for some growth plays, and those are short-term bounce plays only because we're a long way off from any buy pattern long-term. That's where we sit here. Hope everybody is having a great weekend. And if you're watching this at the start of the trading week, a fantastic start to your trading week. By the way, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Until then, I will see everybody again on the live streams. Bye for now.